think there's one way that you can get through this movie. That's it. That's basically all I have to say about the review. I just realized my microphone's turned the other way, so you probably can't hear me right now. Okay, now that my microphone is properly set up and I'm decently buzzed, I think there is only... I watched this movie less than a week ago with two of my closest friends. First of all, I want an apology from them for making me pay. You know what, scratch that, I don't want an apology from them. Because thankfully the tickets cost $5. And this was opening weekend that we went to go see the movie. And we were the only three in the theater. And it was... Excuse me. It's very inappropriate of me. But we were the only ones in the theater. The only three in the theater. Maybe like two others were there. But they could have been... making out, maybe doing some canoodling besides watching the movie. And let's just say, I would have rather been canoodling my friends and just had a threesome in the theater than watch this movie again. I would probably say your best option of watching this film is if you're either high or drunk. I mean, it's just... Like, I'll get into the plot as best I can, but I can't even tell you, like, most of what happened in the film. Like, the only thing I remember about it is just how disappointed I was. So, now that I've already ranted for, like, well over 3 minutes, let me just, begin first by saying, Russell Crowe, he's already done another Exorcist movie. You're not having deja vu. This isn't a sequel or a prequel, or even a spin-off to The Pope's Exorcist. If you literally look up The Exorcism and The Pope's Exorcist, it looks the exact same. It is the exact same movie, except I would argue, look, The Pope's Exorcist, whether I get a review of it done or not, it's not a great movie. But compared to this, it's a masterpiece. Now, let me get into The Exorcism. First of all, let me get into the positives. Russell Crowe is actually pretty decent in this. I'm not saying he's putting on an Oscar-worthy performance, like he's not the next, Gladiator, he's not going to be, moving you to tears. Maybe he is. I honestly felt like tearing up because this movie was so freaking god-awful, and I just wanted to end my existence right in that very theater. But no, he actually does a solid job. Some of the cast members also do a solid job. Some of them. I mean, I can't really say, like it's not badly acted. That's probably the highest praise I can give it, is that, it doesn't feel like it's half-assed acting. Russell Crowe seems to just put it out there. Everyone else is just basically doing it for a paycheck. Also, one of the actors in this movie, Sam Worthington, who's in the Avatar movies, he's in this movie for 3 scenes. And then he gets freaking... I barely remember how he got killed, but it was pretty boring from what I remember. But yeah, the plot of this is basically Russell Crowe's this alcoholic actor that's now trying to get back into the acting gig, and he's part of this new movie called The Exorcism or some BS like that. And I will say, the premise of this isn't terrible. It's somewhat interesting. But then the movie happens, and then it's just immediately falls apart. It's so... there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say about this movie, besides the fact that it is 90 minutes of where nothing just happens. There is maybe... there is a scene where Russell Crowe... I can't even think of, jump scares that, really truly got me, because they were so cheap, and I knew they were happening. At one point, Russell Crowe's just, staring into space. Obviously, he's possessed. And his daughter's, basically just kind of going up to him and going like, "You okay?" She touches him, and he just does like this weird little and it's just a loud noise. And then they just move on. Like that wasn't the weirdest. Like, I guarantee you, if I did that in the middle of the hall, granted I'm a tad bit buzzed, if I did that in the hall, I guarantee you half the people would be looking at me like, who is this freaking psychopath? No, but when that happens in the film, they barely react. They're just like, oh, okay. Like, and then it just keeps on going. It's just a meandering, it just keeps on. It is 80 minutes at least, 90 at the most, but it feels much longer because it is just the most, like, it just meanders, it just drags to each and every plot point. Not even a naked Russell Crowe pissing in a shower could save this movie. It's like, it could have been like goofy bad, it could have been fun bad, but this is just boring bad. Like, the biggest sin this movie committed was the fact that it's boring. It is like just unbearably boring. The only way I could watch this again with my friends is if I'm decently buzzed. Like, that's the only way I could get through it. It is just the most boring film I've said. Like, and the ending, like, where do I even begin with the ending? Like, it tries to go with the whole exorcism route. There's a lot of references to The Exorcist, as per usual. I'd rather watch that movie 12 times in a single day than watch this film once again. If it's gonna get me some type of action with a girl, then sure, but I highly doubt it. And it's not even like that scary. It's very just, like, there are goofy moments in it, but they're not enough to kind of make it memorable. Like, it's very forgettable. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, there's nothing else to say, but just like I'm gonna give this review, just like the title says, it's atrocious. It's just atrocious. It is terrible. Just awful. So don't see it. If I had to recommend a movie, go see Quiet Place Day 1. That was pretty good. Or hell, I'll give my review on both of these movies, but even though this is going to be controversial in my opinion, just for my own personal preference, see Inside Out 2. Like, literally anything that's in theaters is 10 times better than this. I'm pretty sure it's already bombed at the box office. You probably never even heard of it. So, yeah, there you go. That's my review. I literally could care less about this movie, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's about it. See ya.